Genesis chapter 38, verses 1 to 30. I'm reading the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible, verse 1. It happened at the time that Judah went down from his brothers and settled near a certain Adulamite whose name was Hira. Verse 2. There Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. He married her and went into her. Verse 3. She conceived and bore a son, and he named him Verse 4. Again she conceived and bore a son, whom she named Unan. Verse 5. Yet again she bore a son, and she named him Shelah. She was in Chizeb when she bore him. Verse 6. Judah took a wife for his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. Verse 7. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. Verse 8. Then Judah said to Onan, go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her and raise up offspring for your brother. Verse 9. But since Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, he spilled his semen on the ground whenever he went in to his brother's wife, so that he would not give offspring to his brother. Verse 10. What he did was displeasing in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Verse 11. Then Judah said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, remain a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up, for he feared that he too would die like his brothers. So Tamar went to live in her father's house. Verse 12. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. When Judah's time of mourning was over, he went up to Timnah to his sheep shearers, he and his friend Hira the Adulamite. Verse 13. When Tamar was told, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to share his sheep. Verse 14. She put off her widow's garments, put on a veil, wrapped herself up, and sat down at the entrance of Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. She saw that Shelah was grown up, yet she had not been given to him in marriage. Verse 15. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Verse 16. He went over to her at the roadside and said, come, let me come in to you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, what will you give me that you may come in to me? Verse 17. He answered, I will send you a kid from the flock. And she said, only if you give me a pledge until you send it. Verse 18, he said, what pledge shall I give you? She replied, your signet and your cord and the staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her, and went into her, and she conceived by him. Verse 19, then she got up and went away, and taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. Verse 20, when Judah sent the kid by his friend the Adulamite to recover the pledge from the woman, he could not find her. Verse 21, he asked the townspeople, where is the temple prostitute who was at Enaim by the wayside? But they said, no prostitute has been here. Verse 22, so he returned to Judah and said, I have not found her. Moreover, the townspeople said, no prostitute has been here. Verse 23, Judah replied, let her keep the things as her own, otherwise he will be laughed at. You see, I sent this kid and you cannot find her. Verse 24, about 3 months later, Judah was told, your daughter-in-law Tamar has played the whore. Moreover, she is pregnant as a result of whoredom. Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. Verse 25, as she was being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law. It was the owner of this who made me pregnant. And she said, take note, please, whose these are, the signet and the cord and the staff. Verse 26, then Judah acknowledged them and said, she is more in the right than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah. and he did not lie with her again. Verse 27. When the time of her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. Verse 28. While she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and bound in his hand a crimson thread, saying, "This one came out first." Verse 29. But just then he drew back his hand, and out came his brother, and she said, "What a breach you have made for yourself." Therefore he was named Peres. Verse 30. Afterward, his brother came out with crimson thread on his hand, and he was named Zerah. Genesis chapter 38, verses 1 to 30, the New Revised Standard Version, the Green Bible.